So as we explore what leadership is, we can look at it from many different perspectives, many different models, many different theories. So we're just now going to look at some of the fundamental principles that you will explore during this program. The first is that we are all unique individuals, unique manifestations of humanity. For that reason, the way you lead, most efficiently and most effectively, will be very different to the way I lead or anybody else does. For that reason, leadership has to be developed at the individual level through your own personality, your own psychology, your own presence. You can't just be trained in it by somebody else's system. It has to be developed by you, through you, for you. And that leads us to another of our great principles, which is that all leadership begins with leadership of self. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead anything. And it is on that fundamental basis of self-leadership that you can then build your ability to lead others, lead teams, lead organizations or communities. And we use a great quote from that English poet Kipling, the best definition of leadership I think that we've heard, which is, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, as the leader, of course, it's your fault, then that is leadership. Now, in order to do that, knowledge and skills are not enough. We'll be working at the level of attitudes, values, beliefs, and behaviours, which is why it's important that through this course you actually participate in the activities and exercises that we suggest. That's about self-leadership. As far as leading others go, we've all had experiences of being led by different people in different ways. But the fundamental principle of leadership when it relates to other people is that leadership is not about doing per se. It is about enabling other people to do things, usually to do things that have not been done before in circumstances that have not existed before. And that brings in another of our principles about what we call the act of leadership, that the fundamental capabilities of a good leader is the ability to be aware, to connect, and to bring transformations. We'll talk about that in more detail elsewhere, but in today's world, the ability to keep your head when all about are losing theirs and blaming it on you, remain aware of and connected with yourself, others, and the situation is increasingly important because we live in what's been called a VUCA world. And VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. There are no set ways to do things. What you're experiencing now, you've never experienced before, has never existed before. So you need to be able to connect and flow with the situation, with all its volatility, with all its uncertainty, its complexity and its ambiguity. So you need to be comfortable with the fact that you don't know exactly what's going on. You're able to make a leadership decision with the best resources, the best knowledge that you have, on the understanding that in the next moment things might change and you therefore have to change. You have to shift and flow and enable your people to flow with things as they move on. That's the VUCA world. They also talk about wicked problems. It's impossible to know exactly what's going on. So again, that principle of remaining present, remaining relaxed and flowing with awareness and connection applies through that as well. Another of our fundamental principles relates to the three dimensions of leadership, which we will look at in detail elsewhere. So as you go through this program, remember, it is about you leading as only you can. It is about you being comfortable managing your awareness and connection with yourself and with others and with the situation in order to flow with it as it inevitably changes and as you learn things about yourself and others as they go. one final thing. All leaders should be able to live what they believe to be true. That's fine. But to really live what you believe to be true, you need to understand that as you live that truth will change. As you learn, as you grow, as you evolve. So this living what you believe to be true is not a destination, it is a continual journey of discovery, of experience, of growth and evolution, through which you as a leader will be able to provide benefit for yourself, for those you lead, and for the community, be it a business or a social community, that your leadership and your team affects.